Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. What do Tim McGraw, Kelly Clarkson, and Ringo Starr all have in common? They have all recorded #1 songs written by our next guest. We welcome award-winning songwriter and Hall of Fame inductee Gary Burr. Thanks for joining us, Gary.
Oh, glad to be here, Hannah. Very nice to see you.
So even as you've lived this life, when you hear all those names stacked up next to each other, just to name a few, does it kind of blow your mind you've worked with all these incredible people?
Oh, yeah, I always think you're talking about somebody else that I really, really enjoy having coffee with.
There you go.
Me not so much.
So tell me about your songwriting process. Do you have certain things that you always have to do, or is it different every time?
Oh, it's totally different every time. Sometimes you're writing with the person that's going to sing the song. Sometimes you're writing a song for a project, so you're aiming your ideas and your melodies and everything towards a person. And sometimes you write a song just to write a song, and when you're done, you're looking at it going, what did I just spend
now
the last
what?
4 hours? Yes, exactly. Now what? My closet is getting full.
Do you work with people across all of different types and genres of music? Do you have things that you gravitate toward, or is it just kind of an organic process, whatever comes up?
Well, I always look at songs like they're the mannequins. You know, I write the mannequin, and then people can take that mannequin and put any kind of clothes they want on them and turn them into anything they want. My first #1 country song was a song that I wrote hoping to get Barry Manilow to cut it because it was a big ballad with synthesizers, and the Oak Ridge Boys recorded it. And I said, they can't do that. That's not a country song. And they said, it is now.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool. Do you have favorite collaborators that you work with over and over again, or an experience that you'll just never forget?
No, I don't like any of them.
They're all terrible?
No. I mean, you know, when I get to write with the kind of people that you grew up dreaming about, you know, the Carole Kings and the Kenny Loggins and the Ringos, it's unbelievable. And you do that kind of a thing, and you just try your best to be a professional and stick to the job and not, you know, look around for an ashtray that you can steal. But when you're really sitting down to write a song, you know, for the market, I have 2 or 3 collaborators that are my favorite people to work with, that I seem to blossom with, and they seem to blossom with me. And those are the people that when I sit down, I kind of go, oh, this is going to be good.
That's really special. It's hard to come by.
It is, and I hope none of them are watching this, but I didn't name any names. That's cool.
We won't tell. Well, you brought up Ringo, and I got to ask you about this novel that you've written. After all of these years songwriting and the accolades that you've received, what in the world inspired you to write a novel?
You know, when I was in that band with Kenny Loggins, you know, everything with social media is content. You need content. So they asked me every night after every show to write a blog. And people reacted really well to my blogs. They liked them. They found them funny. They found them informative. And everybody was going, you should write a book, you should write a book. And then the pandemic hit, and everybody was writing songs on this crazy thing. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's, you know, the thing that we're on right now. And I don't like writing songs like this. We really can't talk or play over each other. And there's too much of a lag. So I just sort of said, what am I going to do with myself for as long as this pandemic lasts? And I decided to go ahead and write a book about one of the 2 things that I know an insanely stupid amount about. And one was going to be either Seinfeld or the Beatles. So I chose the Beatles. Since I've never met Jerry, but I've been friends with Ringo for 20 years, I think I picked the right subject.
There you go. So it's a fairy tale for adults in a world where all 4 guys are still around, and they're literally getting the band back together. I mean, that's pretty fun.
It is pretty fun. And after being in the business for as long as I am, I mean, I know what it's like. I know what it would be like if I were to call the band I was in 20 years ago, you know, and say, you want to get back together. I'd probably, the same things that bugged me 20 years ago would probably bug me today. But I know what it's like to be in the studio. I know what it's like to, walk on stage in front of a lot of people. So I brought a certain, I brought a certain mechanics to it where I was able to, I think I was able to put the reader in the studio and on the stage and behind the scenes with four guys that are trying to put something together, knowing that if one of them says the wrong thing, then there's four planes flying back to four different cities and it's all over.
There you go. Well, and I imagine it becomes kind of a sibling dynamic where you love each other, you can fight like dogs, but at the end of the day, you all want the best for each other, even if it doesn't really feel that way in the moment sometimes.
You know what? You got that right. I've always thought that all bands are like a family unit. Somebody becomes the father, somebody becomes the mother, somebody becomes the errant black sheep sibling, and one of them becomes the nurturer that wants to keep everybody together. And that's, every band has the family dynamic, and the Beatles were no exception.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot to keep those great machines rolling along. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. It was great chatting with you.
Great chatting with you. Thank you very much.
Of course, we'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.